My son, 30, and his family are struggling. It's hard out there, I know. He came to me to see if I could help him with rent for a few months. I said that I would, and I did. I gave him $2,000. That was two-thirds of his rent for 2 months. It was a gift. I didn't expect it back. I thought about my granddaughter growing up in that little apartment and started looking around without talking to him first. That was 100% my fault. I found a townhouse for a reasonable price. If I put down a huge down payment, then I could let my son and his family move in there, and it would only cost $850 a month for the mortgage and property taxes. It was close to my granddaughter's school and only 5 blocks from their current apartment. I took my son and daughter-in-law, 28, to see it and told them about my idea. They could live there and get a much better home for their family for just over half their current rent. That would allow them to save up, pay down bills, whatever, you know? They said it was a very generous gift. I corrected them. I was buying the house by taking money from my retirement account. I needed it back. They got mad that they would be paying a mortgage and not getting equity in the property. It has devolved into a big fight. I no longer wish to participate, and so I told the agent to let it go. My agent called me because my son had asked her to take him to see it again, and she was confused because I had said I was no longer interested. It was already pending for another buyer. Now my son is upset with me for taking away a house with a yard from his daughter. No matter what I do, I've done something wrong. Am I the idiot for taking back my offer to help my son with housing? Edit. It's a new development. It would have had a 5-year warranty. If my daughter-in-law goes back to work as they plan, they could put her money into savings as well. It's a new house too? Not the idiot. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm your son's generation, and I wish my parents were in a position to do that for me. I can't believe anybody's giving you crap for this very generous offer. LOL, $850 rent would be a tremendous gift to a lot of people right now. $850 a month for housing for even 5 years is a ridiculous savings. OP, that's your retirement money. You were trying to help them, but they got greedy. If they're struggling right now, I wouldn't gamble your retirement on them being able to keep up payments. If they couldn't, then you'd have to evict them and sell it or find a tenant. Your son isn't making any equity in his current apartment. He could have been in the same situation, but in a much nicer place. He shot himself in the foot with his own entitlement. Although it is indeed a very generous offer, OP did a lot of assuming and sort of attempted to put his son in deeper debt to OP. Yes, the original $2,000 was a gift, but he went and found a house, showed it to them, and presented it as if he would make the down payment while they saved. He then told them it wasn't actually a gift, but an offer for a huge loan, except now that would add another thing they need to pay off eventually, while not having any ownership of the house. Paying OP back isn't the same as the bank, but it's a different stress and burden. OP's an idiot here. The conversation should have taken place before OP took it upon themselves to go house hunting. The lady living behind me lives rent-free in a home owned by her parents. Right now, I can see a fast food bag her 20-something son threw on the driveway. It's his thing, not using a garbage can. A Christmas wreath hanging on the door, a knocked-over dog food bowl on the slight front stoop, and has been for weeks. The landscaping is overgrown. The back door screen has been broken for 3 years we've lived here. The back patio's full of broken and rusted crap. I can't see where the security of a wonderful free home in a great school district has helped this 40-something woman finish growing up at all. If they couldn't afford rent and weren't invested, were you prepared to do all the maintenance and pay for upkeep, paint, replace appliances, change filters, and install flooring? You had good intentions, but maybe they have to figure things out themselves. Or you need to try again and propose a rent-to-own. My wife, 34, and I, 38 male, are shopping for our first house. We put together a list of needs, wants, and deal breakers for our desired home. We both had similar lists in terms of needs and wants. We want multiple bedrooms and good schools for when we have kids, a fenced-in yard for our dog, no major renovations needed, etc. I only had one real deal breaker. I told her I would refuse to even put in an offer on a house that has an HOA. My parents lived in an HOA when I was a teenager, and I saw the amount of BS they had to go through all the time. There's no way I want to spend a huge amount of money and have to deal with that kind of thing for who knows how many years. The house could check every single box in our need and want list, and I would still refuse to even try and buy it. Well, our search has not been an easy one. We've been priced out of many areas we were hoping to live in, and the houses that are more within our budget are not exactly what we're looking for. We've toured dozens of houses, had offers rejected, had sellers try to get us into bidding wars. We've argued, disagreed, and fought. It sucked. Last week, our realtor sent us a home just hitting the market. She was excited because she thought it was exactly what we're looking for. My wife fell in love with the pictures and wanted to set up a tour. But as I was looking at the listing, I saw it as an HOA. I told my wife that I didn't even want to look at it since I didn't want to put an offer in. She decided to set up a tour with the realtor without me. She viewed the home without telling me about it, then came home and was excited to submit an offer. She spent an entire evening trying to convince me that it was her dream house and that we needed to submit an offer before it was too late. She said there is no harm in submitting an offer just to see what the sellers say. I told her that she knows an HOA is my number one deal breaker and that I find it upsetting that she would go behind my back and do this on her own and then try and convince me to compromise my stance. She tried to downplay how much of an impact an HOA would have on our lives and told me that a little inconvenience from an HOA won't offset how much we enjoy our home. But she's never lived in an HOA. She's yet to see firsthand how nuts they can be and how stressful it can be for a homeowner. I reminded her that when we started looking, we both agreed that this had to be a 2-yes decision, meaning that if one of us vetoed a house for whatever reason, we wouldn't pursue it. And she knows that an HOA is my number one veto reason. She's now super angry at me for vetoing her dream house. She's telling me we'll never find a house that checks so many of her wants and needs, and that I should just let go of the HOA thing and submit an offer. I told her she was letting her frustration with the process cloud her judgment, and she's taking it out on me. You are the idiot, because buying a house as two people is a tough process, and it can make idiots out of the most non-idiotic among us. My partner and I just closed on a house that we both loved, but involved major compromises on both our parts. I found that it was very difficult to treat things that were important to her, but not to me, as legitimate parts of the decision, rather than obstacles to a decision that satisfied me. I think both of you may be having trouble with that as well. My suggestion would be to get your realtor to give you a copy of the rules for this HOA. Do some research and see if it's as bad as you fear. My old neighborhood had one on paper, but in practice it did nothing. Either way, your wife will appreciate your willingness to consider compromising on this issue. You don't feel going behind his back and pursuing it doesn't make her an idiot? I disagree. Why go look when you already know you're never getting the yes from your partner? He already told her he wasn't agreeing to it. Not the idiot. No way in heck will I live in a house where the neighbors get to decide what flowers I can plant in my garden, what color I can paint my house, choose how I receive internet, measure my grass, and rules on the pets that I want. Just wondering, why is your realtor showing you homes that have HOAs if you've expressed that it's a non-starter for you? I disagree with that disagreement. She was interested, but he wasn't. Her going by herself to see it doesn't hurt anyone. They'd still be having the same argument, regardless of whether she had gone or not. Conversely, her visit could have ruled it out entirely without wasting his time. It's not like she made an offer without him. She went to confirm it was, in fact, as good as it looked to her on paper. I'm literally selling my condo at a loss to get away from the darn HOA. The dispute about flowers involves lawyers. You're in the right. You made your deal breaker clear. Partners should respect deal breakers. This doesn't mean that your wife can't be sad, but you've clarified your boundaries. Buying a house is super stressful for everyone. I hope you guys find the perfect place. My bio family really sucks. My sister and I became close to one of our friends, Beth, and her family basically adopted us. They were our rock when our lives sucked with our own parents. They helped put us through college, and I consider them my parents. The problem started earlier this year. Beth's dad passed away, and it was a bad time for everyone. Funerals are a huge deal in their family. If you don't go to the funeral, It's considered a screw you to the dead and the family. My sister has a fear of the dead. She refused to go to the funeral. I tried to get her to go, but she still refused. The day came and went, and they did not take it well. Beth's mom really didn't take it well and basically banned her from her home. She said he gave so much to her, and she spat in his face by not going. Everyone in the family is angry with her. She's not been invited to the home and got kicked out when she showed up once. They have a big family reunion in July each year. We both have been going for years, but she didn't get an invite this year. She called me up and asked me not to go. I told her that I plan on going, even though she's not invited. We got into an argument, and she thought I was a huge jerk for going. I pointed out that she knew they wouldn't take it well when she didn't go to the funeral. Am I the idiot for attending a family event that my sister wasn't invited to? Edit. She believes in ghosts. It's more of an ick and avoiding cemeteries thing. She didn't show up at all. Not even a text, because people were calling her. This woman couldn't even be bothered to drop a card in the mail, send flowers, deliver a casserole, clean the widow's house afterward. She just ghosted everyone because, ew, death. I understand having a fear of death, but a fear of the actual dead? Zombies and ghosts and the like are fictional and can't physically hurt you, so her phobia is not a strong excuse. Then the fact that she didn't reach out at all is just so strange to me. Sister messed up big time. Not the idiot. No one likes going to funerals, but given how much Beth's dad did for you and your sister, I agree with Beth's family. It was the bare minimum she could have done as a final sign of respect, and she bailed. She can now deal with the consequences of her actions. Well, there's not a lot of empathy in this thread. People get to grieve how they want and how they need to. Gatekeeping grief is one of the worst kinds of gatekeeping, and this thread is full of it. Disgusting. Everyone's the idiot here, though. The sister could have informed the family in advance and maybe offered comfort for their grief in a different way. OP should have understood and defended her sister's right to process and participate in her own way, and the rest of the family shouldn't have marred this man's memory with this unnecessary gatekeeping and judgmentalism. My niece, 26, is getting married in a month, and she wants me to give her away at the wedding. Her father passed away when she was really young, and I felt a moral obligation to help my sister and her daughter because my sister too helped me a lot growing up. I knew I had an obligation to my wife and children primarily, but that didn't mean I couldn't help out my sister and her daughter too. Since they lived just 10 minutes from us, I tried to be as physically active as possible in my niece's life when she was growing up. My wife and I have argued about it over the years. I've also been sending money to my sister monthly for the past decade. It is from my account, not the joint account my wife and I share, so I can spend it however I want, but my wife does know about it, and we've had arguments about this too. Now coming to the point, my niece wants me to give her away at her wedding next month, but my wife thinks it's very weird, and she doesn't want me to do it. I told my wife there's nothing weird about it, and her opinion on this is irrelevant. We've had a lot of discussions on this over the past week, and my wife makes me feel like a bad guy. Am I the bad guy? Am I the idiot if I were to give my niece away at her wedding? I'm confused as to why that's weird. You're walking her down the aisle at her wedding. What is the problem? Not the idiot. You sound like a caring uncle and brother. Saying your wife's opinion is irrelevant and a problem of her own making is deserved. Sorry, not sorry. It's high time you got to the root of your wife's jealousy and pettiness. Most good women would be extremely proud of you for all of this. OP is a champion uncle, the kind of family member who many dream of having. Imagine losing a parent, and then one of your uncles and aunts steps up to the plate to compensate. Only a hard-working, empathetic champion would do that. His wife should be elated and proud to have such a great husband, not jealous and spiteful that he's sharing his goodness with family. If the situation is exactly how he describes it, I have trouble seeing how anyone would object, which is why I would love to hear the wife's take on this. Does he miss his own children's events to go to his nieces? Does the money he gives them mean he can't contribute towards a family vacation? Exactly how much time does he spend at his sister's? Maybe his wife is just a jealous wretch. Maybe OP is a deadbeat parent to his own child. I, 23 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 23, for 6 months. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, and the topic of our past has not mattered much to us, at least until now. This Saturday, she stayed at my house and we were drinking. We got intoxicated, and she started talking about her past relationships. The body count issue doesn't interest me because I also had casual relationships, but she told me that before she had 4 serious relationships, of which in all 4, she cheated on her partners. However, immediately afterward, she said it was different with me because she had already matured and wanted to stay with me forever. We talked a little more and she stayed the night. On Sunday, she stayed with me, and finally today, she went to work from here. I work from home, but I kept thinking about our conversation. On Sunday, she simply said she didn't remember anything. I don't know if it's true or if she was just pretending not to remember, but this has left me reconsidering our relationship. Her last serious relationship was 4 months ago, before she started being with me. I don't think that in 4 months she's matured. The truth is that I wanted to bring up the topic to talk about on Sunday, but she immediately said that she didn't remember anything and that it hurt her head to think about it. This has left me wondering if the best thing is to continue or end the relationship. She was quite jealous with me at the beginning, but now she's much calmer, at least since she comes regularly. But the fact that she doesn't want to talk about it makes me doubt. No, I just don't want to be the 5th guy she cheats on. And I also don't like that she doesn't want to talk about it. She knows very well that the topic of infidelity is a deal breaker for me. I was thinking of telling her that if we don't talk about it, we break up. But I don't know how aggressive that may sound. I was also thinking about ending the relationship once and for all. But would it be wrong to do so? Not the idiot. 4 months is not long enough for her to grow out of being a serial cheater. If she was maturing, she wouldn't be trying to pretend that that conversation didn't happen. Also, she leapfrogged from her last relationship to you with no time for self-reflection and growth. It was different with you because I'm already matured and want to stay with you forever. And things like that? That girl probably for the 3rd time. OP, I would bet my life you aren't the first guy that she said that you're different crap to. Sorry to tell you, but you aren't special. And she did it to everybody else. You're next. Consider yourself on notice. Trust is a crucial foundation for any relationship, and your girlfriend's past behavior raises valid concerns. Her unwillingness to address the issue openly only adds to the doubt. You're not wrong for wanting to talk about it or end the relationship if she's unwilling to engage in a serious conversation. Your feelings and concerns are valid, and it's ultimately your decision whether to continue the relationship.